So the French president has come out and he has spilled the beans. He has accidentally told the truth. Or was this an accident? Was this on purpose? Are we being conditioned for something bigger that is coming? All right, because we keep hearing very strange rhetoric from world leaders. Biden just came out the other day and said that we are on the verge of a nuclear Armageddon. All right. So what is going on? Why are we being conditioned? Why is the rhetoric escalating? And why are these leaders just spilling the beans all over the place saying like, oh yeah, nuclear Armageddon is coming. And now top NATO officials are saying insane statements. Top US generals are saying massive statements, all right? And the French president is essentially admitting what we all knew, something that we all have been feeling and saying for months, but the mainstream media and the world leaders are just now starting to admit it, all right? So he was asked about these recent attacks in Ukraine and what the response will be, and he said France's response will be more weapons defense systems, all right, more radars, more everything so Ukraine can defend itself. So more depletion of France's own missile defense systems, essentially, all right? So we just keep sending stuff over there and it just keeps getting obliterated, and there's not, the restocking is not happening as fast as the depletion is, all right? So he said that, and then he also came out and said that we are in a hybrid war with Russia, right? He said we are in a hybrid war with Russia. That's what the French president came out and said. He finally admitted that France is essentially at war with Russia. He said we're in a hybrid war. The French president said we are in a hybrid war with Russia, all right? So he's talking about France is in a war with Russia. NATO is in a war with Russia. This is bigger than just Ukraine. Ukraine is used as the proxy state. It's like Syria. It's very similar to Syria, how Syria was used as a proxy state between Russia and the United States to have a proxy war, essentially, all right? This is a very similar situation for NATO and Russia, all right? And he went on to say that we are not just using weapons on the ground, but using weapons of information, he said, adding that Russia and the United States and NATO, all right? But he just said Russia's doing this, but this is coming from both sides, right? Let's not joke. Was using a wide variety of approaches to wage the conflict, including propaganda channels, paying for influence, including on social media, weaponizing migration, blackmail, and hunger, all right? So weaponizing migration, blackmail, and hunger. So it's more than just weapons. This is also siege warfare, right? I was saying this OPEC reduction in oil was essentially an attack, and now Saudi Arabia is becoming even closer allies and partnering even closer with Russia, all right? So let's get into these statements from top NATO officials as well, and top US generals, all right, that are also giving their opinions on what we should do, all right? So this top NATO official, senior NATO official, comes out and says, a nuclear strike in Ukraine would, quote, almost certainly trigger a, quote, physical response from Ukrainian allies and potentially from NATO, all right? That's what he said when he was asked. He was at a press conference in Belarus, and he said if Moscow used nuclear weapons, there would be, quote, unprecedented consequences for Russia, all right? And let me just just break something down that I feel like we all know this. I know you guys know this, but it's just not said enough, okay, in the midst of all this, is that Ukraine is not part of NATO. And Ukraine is also not part of the EU. Ukraine is not a part of any European or Western alliance at all. It's not a part of any treaties. It's not a part of anything. And this senior NATO official is saying that if Russia uses a nuclear strike inside Ukraine, it would almost certainly trigger a response from NATO. So if NATO directly attacked Russia, that would trigger a direct response from Russia, all right? This is just, so quick to escalate. And look, I feel bad for people that are there, the innocent people that are there, right? There are innocent people there that are in the middle of this. But there's also a lot of just chaos going on and craziness from both sides. And this is a country that's not a part of the European Union or NATO. So I'm not sure why we have to have a response if something happens, why we have to do all these escalations, all right? So let's get into what a top U.S. general said as well, right? So General Mark Milley has come out, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on the U.S. Security Council. I'm sure you know who he is. He's one of the top generals in the United States. And he said that, this is what he said in response to the Ukrainian missile strikes. He said, allies need to help Ukraine build an integrated air and missile defense system. He said, what needs to be done here by all the various countries that we are at the conference today is chip in and help them build and sustain an integrated air and missile defense system. He said, our plan is to have several countries, including Israel and Germany, to give parts to Ukraine so they can build a missile defense system over Ukraine, all right? So he wants to have several different countries give parts of their missile defense systems to Ukraine so they can build their own missile defense. But wouldn't that leave these countries vulnerable? Specifically, he's talking about Israel and Germany. I'm sure the United States would send part of theirs too. But Germany especially is right there. Is it really smart to send Germany's missile defense systems that are right near this conflict to Ukraine to just essentially be destroyed at any moment, to be overwhelmed, to be targeted? All right, all these things can be seen with satellite. All these movements, all these missile defense, all these weapon shipments can be seen with satellites. They know exactly where they are, exactly where they're going, and they could just be easily taken out. And then what does Germany and Israel and the United States do if we part all our missile defense systems over there? It's the same problem with all the weapons. We're just sending our weapons over here and depleting our stockpiles at massive rates, all right? So let me know what you guys think. Lots of big statements came out today. Lots of big leaders coming out and saying lots of big things. Let me know what you think about their statements. The French president is saying, we are in a hybrid war with Russia, all right? That's what he's saying. He's saying, we are. So what does that mean to you? I mean, that sounds like he's saying France is at war with Russia and we're in this hybrid war where we're doing all these, we're not hitting each other directly with missiles right now, but we are in a war with Russia and it could easily spill over into Europe, right? So let me know what you guys think. Please get prepared. I know this stuff is overwhelming all these officials, but it's very serious. We're getting very close next month. Normally in October, in an election year, a lot of big things happen. So who knows? And I this is just speculation. I don't know if anything is going to happen, but it's just what normally happens. There's normally a lot of just like big movements, you know what I mean, to kind of shuffle the deck to try to change the political opinions of what's going on before a big, election or whatever, okay? So let me know what you guys think. It could be totally unrelated. This could just be timing for the winter as well. This could just be winter's coming and things are just boiling up because things are getting more desperate and it, you know what I mean? It needs to like move on to the next phase before winter and there can't be a lot of movements, all right? So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching and you guys have a big old blessed day.